We're gonna grab our arms all the way around, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna do low back or lumbar cars. So we're gonna take a breath in, trap the air in our lower abdomen. We're gonna curl, crunch down without the hips flexing. Get to the end range of what the range is. Rotate, side bend, and start to extend, keeping your bum tight as you go. Slowly arching your back backwards, over to the other side. Flex those elbows down towards the hip, coming around. We're gonna do 3 one way, keep going. Another rep here, slowly. What we're doing is we're seeking out the stretch and finding the end range all the way. Elbows bending down, flexing around. 1 more rep here, rotate first after you flex. Side bend, start to extend. Make sure you're getting it through that lower back, over to the other side. Curling around to the front, back to straight. I'll show you from the side, you can see. We're gonna do the same thing going the other way. So we're gonna curl, crunch down, rotating to the left, maintaining some tension throughout our body. I don't wanna see those hips sway. Start to extend, arch back, over to the other side. This can be done standing with a block behind you, or going to the second rep, or just standing with wide legs, extending, making your whole spine move here. Rotating around, seeking the stretch on that opening side. 1 more, all the way around. Rotating, maintaining tension, 20–30% tension throughout your whole spine and your whole body. Holding, minimizing movement anywhere but that lower back. We're gonna do some side lying hip cars. You're gonna be lying on your side. I'm gonna have my hands like this. I'm gonna push and pull with one. I'm gonna bring one leg up, open. Once we reach the top, then we're gonna internally rotate as we keep our knee high and our foot reaches back. Super slow here, controlled. And then we come forward. We're gonna do 3 reps, knee up, open the hip. You go to your end range, internally rotating, keeping that knee high and reaching back. Another rep forward, then we're gonna reverse. Coming up, good, and rotate back, reach, keeping those arms tight. Good, we're gonna do the reverse now. So extend the hip, keeping the knee bent, open, pull up into external rotation, back around to midline and down. Straight back, keeping the knee at 90 degrees. Extend the hip, open up, rotate, come back around up towards your armpit, back around, extend the hip, externally rotate, pull all the way up and around. Good. We're doing this all for one side. You can absolutely do the same thing on the other side. So you can just repeat and do the same thing 6 reps. So 3 one way, 3 the other way on the other hip. I'm gonna get into something called 90-90. I'll show you from the side. I want the knee and the hip 90 degrees, same thing here in the back leg. Now, if this is too tight and we can't stay upright, we bend that back leg, so we relax that part of the hip, and then we can post. So I'm gonna turn myself back to the front. You find a position that's comfortable for you. We're looking to try and be upright. If we can't do, we pull that knee in and we stay here and we can post out to the side. Perfect, and then we inch ourselves. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to come forward. I'm gonna stay tall, you can go down on your elbow. Chest is tall, I'm trying to hover over the knee. As we go there, we can use our hands to support, or if we're on our elbow, and we're trying to come in and out. We're trying to feel that stretch on that outer side of the hip, as well as your glutes and the bum, really. We don't want pinching in the front, we want it all on the back of the outside. So think about actively coming and pulling yourself over, holding there, nice and easy. Now, this part, I want you to do a full 2-minute stretch. So you're gonna be hanging out here for a while, listen to a podcast, watch TV. It's a perfect one to sit if you're watching in the evening to do some 90-90 and work on your external rotation. Throughout that 2 minutes, you might find, oh, if I go a little bit in, I can feel stretch a little bit more or a little bit forward. Just listen to your body and feel for what you have. If you need to, like I said, post onto that shoulder. We're gonna come forward. I don't want the spine to round out. I wanna stay tall and push the chest out over. So if you're up here, that's perfectly fine. If you're out here, that's perfectly fine. And we're just trying. So after we've done our 2 minutes passive stretch in our 90-90, we are then going to do our pails and our rails. And what that is we're going to contract the tissue that we're lengthening, which is all the underside tissue, the hip, etc. And we're going to contract it isometrically at end range. And then we're going to contract the tissue we're shortening, which is all the inside tissue, isometrically at end range. So I'm going to be here. You can be posted, as I said, wherever. We're going to stay nice and tall. We've done our full 2 minutes. I'm going to drive my foot down into the ground. So we're going to drive. So I want the foot, the knee, everything driving down, ramping that up to your greatest effort. So you're thinking about everything going down, but I'm staying here. I'm not coming out of it. I'm staying exactly at end range, ramping up to your greatest effort. Once you get to your greatest, we then hold for 10 to 15 seconds. So hold, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Our rails is think about your foot trying to come up towards your chest and your chest towards. So we're trying to close this gap here, which is our regressive shortened tissue, as well as our regressive shortened tissue, trying to pull ourselves in. What you feel with both of these contractions is a little bit more stretch on that outside, but we are strengthening the end range. Hold, 3, 2, 1, breathe and relax. So now you've done a 2 minute passive stretch. We've done our pails and our rails. And we're then going to see, oh, we have a little bit of range, so you can go further. So you might be able to come down, keep coming, trying to stay tall and further. If you're up here, it's fine. Just go a little further into it, getting more stretch through. You hold that for about a minute. The second time, we don't need to hold for 2 minutes in that second round because we already stretched that tissue for the required minimum 2 minutes. We're just getting a little bit more. So then we hang out here just like before, and then we're gonna go into our second set of pails and rails. So we're gonna drive our foot down. You'll feel a little bit more contraction this time, staying at end range. Foot, knee, driving down 20, 40, 60, 80, ramping that up to your greatest effort into the ground. Hold that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rails, pull yourself in. So we're trying to close that gap. Both these pails and rails are for 10 to 15 seconds. Once you're at max, hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax, and you feel that give. So that's working this external rotation. We set a 2 at least. Now I'm gonna grab a chair and you're gonna do some capsule cars and some strengthening. So we're here. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna come quite close. You don't need to see my face so much. And we're gonna do some capsule cars. So we're this leg we've been working on, our right leg. We're going to seat it in a chair. We're gonna lift the foot slightly, but keep the heel. And we're gonna internally rotate and externally rotate. So we're trying to keep that there. And we're gonna try and rotate, and when we rotate out, we're keeping a bit contact with the floor so it's not too much weight on our leg. And then coming in, so you're sliding. This is called capsule cars, going into external rotation and internal rotation and out. And you just go to your end range, do 6 reps all the way out. And that's your capsule rotation. So after you've done any kind of pails and rails, it's really good to do some capsule kind of tissue, get some blood flow back in. The last thing we're gonna do is we're now going to really strengthen this end range. So we're sitting in a chair. Our knee and our hip and our bum is back, and we're gonna lift one leg at a time. So I'm gonna pull my hip into the socket and lift and hold. So I'm just hovering a couple centimeters or an inch, and we're just holding. So think about pulling into your spine, flattening your back into the chair, holding. We're holding for about 20, 30 seconds, or when you fatigue. If it's 5 seconds, that's fine. Whatever it is, building up. Eventually the goal on this one is 60 seconds so that we get a good strengthening through the connective tissue of your hip flexor and we lower down. So try and do a set of 3 hip flexor holds. So have a little rest in between, 20, 30 seconds, get into a second set, pull that hip into the socket and lift up and hold. Flattening your back, making your hip flexor work, making your core pull in and just engage. Hold. And again, 20, 30 seconds. If you can do longer, great. Build up to that 60 seconds and relax. Doing a set of 3. And that's your flow for